Kesha Williams had just transferred to a new school. 8 years of martial arts had turned her fists into silent weapons, but all the bullies saw was a quiet black girl standing alone, the kind of target they thought they could play with. By lunchtime, the cafeteria buzzed like a cheap reality show, all whispers and sideways glances. Derek Morrison, Millbrook High's crown prince of entitlement, strutted in with his 2 sidekicks trailing behind him like badly trained puppies. These boys had spent their lives learning how to polish daddy's car, brag about summer trips, and maybe tie their shoelaces without supervision, while Kesha had spent 8 brutal years learning how to break bones with precision. He blocked her path, smirking, demanding a welcome fee like it was mob night at the lunch tables. Can you believe the ego? And instead of backing down, Kesha leaned in with a calm stare and dropped the line that froze the whole cafeteria. I don't pay protection money. Phones went up, jaws dropped, and suddenly it felt less like lunch and more like the opening round of fight night. Before we go any further, comment where in the world you are watching from, and make sure to subscribe because tomorrow's story is one you don't want to miss. The alarm buzzed at 5:30 a.m., but Kesha was already awake, staring at the ceiling of her new bedroom. Detroit felt like a lifetime away, though it had only been 3 days since the move. She rolled out of bed, headed to the basement, and spent 40 minutes pounding the heavy bag. Jab, cross, hook, uppercut. For her, this wasn't routine anymore. It was preparation. Breakfast. Her mother, Dr. Patricia Williams, called from upstairs, still in scrubs. Fine, Kesha muttered, grabbing toast. It's just another school. But Millbrook High was different. The sea of white faces made it clear she stood out. Whispers trailed her. Where's she from? New girl looks exotic. One boy even snickered. Bet she talks different too. In the cafeteria, Derek made his move. 6'2", broad shoulders, cold blue eyes, the type who believed his grin was law. New students usually pay insurance, he said smoothly. Keeps accidents from happening. Funny how clumsy things get around here, especially for people who don't belong. His lackeys laughed, waiting for her to fold. Kesha calmly set her tray down. I don't pay protection money. The silence hit hard. Derek's smile faltered before he sneered. Pretty girl like you, with all those exotic features? Hate to see anything happen to that face. The insult hung in the air as students leaned closer. Kesha didn't blink. She picked up her tray and walked around him. Derek, red with disbelief, shouted after her, "This isn't over!" At a nearby table, Marcus Thompson shook his head. Girl has no idea what she just started. The retaliation didn't take long. Before second period ended, Kesha's locker jammed. She double-checked the combo, tried again. Nothing. That's when Jake Wilson appeared, grinning like a hyena. Having trouble? Locks can be tricky, especially when someone gums them shut. Who even does that in high school? And just like that, Derek's games had officially begun. Third period dragged, but when she reached for her notebook, it was gone. A quick scan of the hallway showed Tommy Bradley reading it aloud to a pack of freshmen, mocking her handwriting. Look at this fancy penmanship. Guess she thinks she's special. Phones out, laughter echoing. Seriously, this is what they came up with? Kesha didn't grab or plead. She snapped a photo of him holding it instead. What are you doing? He stammered. Building evidence, she replied. His smirk cracked, and he tossed the notebook at her feet. The message was clear. They weren't just bullies, they were reckless enough to think she'd never push back. That's when Marcus Thompson, the same guy from lunch, appeared. You need some advice, he muttered. Derek's dad owns half the town. His uncle's the police chief. When Derek wants something, it happens. Marcus leaned closer. Last year, Miguel Santos thought he could stand up to him too. Broke his ribs. Officially, he fell down the stairs. Sounds familiar, right? Because everyone knew the truth, and still, nobody did a thing. By seventh period, Derek decided to make it personal. In English class, Mrs. Patterson asked Kesha to share her thoughts on To Kill a Mockingbird. She spoke calmly about prejudice and courage. When she finished, Derek started a slow clap. Wow, so well spoken. You're really articulate for... He let the word dangle, smirking. The whole class knew what he meant. The teacher froze, useless, while Derek pushed further. It's refreshing, you know, sometimes people from certain backgrounds struggle with discussions like this. The room went ice cold. Students shifted uncomfortably. Was that supposed to be clever? Kesha, steady as stone, smiled politely. I'm sure you'll find people from all backgrounds can surprise you. Derek's grin faltered, but his eyes burned. He'd just crossed a line that couldn't be uncrossed. Friday morning, Kesha walked up to her locker and froze. A banana was duct taped to the door with a note in Derek's sloppy handwriting. Welcome to the jungle. Students crowded around, snickering. Some looked ashamed, others pulled out phones. Derek himself appeared moments later, grinning like it was comedy night. Oh, did you not like your present? Thought you might be homesick for the urban wildlife. Who even says stuff like that with a straight face? And right there, Kesha's calm reply cut sharper than a punch. Creative. But maybe work on your penmanship. It makes you too easy to identify. The hallway buzzed with whispers. Derek's jaw tightened, his mask cracking. Maybe you need a lesson in respect. Or maybe you need one in basic human decency. Phones were up again. Students sensed it. Things were spiraling fast. By PE, the games turned cruel. Someone slipped itching powder into her gym clothes. At lunch, Jake accidentally bumped into her, sending her tray flying to the floor. Oops, he grinned. Hope you're not too clumsy to clean that up. Was this their master plan? Cafeteria slapstick? Kesha knelt to pick up the scattered food while others stepped around. A few reached to help, but she waved them off. If Derek wanted a show, she wouldn't give him the satisfaction. But the breaking point came in 8th period study hall. With the monitor gone, Derek saw his chance. He stood in the center of the room, pulled out a Bluetooth speaker, and pressed play. Suddenly, Kesha's voice filled the air. Her English class comments spliced and twisted into something vile. The fake recording made it sound like she'd gone on a rant against white students, calling them names she never uttered. Gasps, whispers, glares. Some kids looked suspicious, but most bought it. Derek pocketed the phone with a politician's smile. Guess we know how she really feels about us. Really? That's your proof? Kesha shot back. Everyone just heard you manipulate my words. He leaned closer, voice low but carrying. Why would I need to fake anything? You exposed yourself. The room sat in stunned silence. Was anyone going to call out the obvious? Or was she truly surrounded by sheep? The monitor reappeared and suddenly 30 students buried their noses in homework like nothing happened. But the damage was done. By tomorrow, Derek's edited audio would be all over social media. By the time Derek spread that fake audio, Kesha knew his next move would be physical. The moment school let out, she dropped her backpack and walked across the parking lot toward Derek and his crew. He laughed when he saw her coming, but the laughter died as he realized she wasn't stopping. Your game's end now, she said flatly. Oh no, Derek sneered. They end when I say so. Pretty little transfer girl thinks she's tougher than me? His voice carried for the growing crowd. Jake cracked his knuckles. Tommy stepped closer. Did they really believe 3 spoiled boys were about to scare someone who'd been training for nearly a decade? When Derek grabbed her arm, it was over. Kesha twisted, flipped his weight, and dropped him gasping to the asphalt with a strike to the ribs. Jake lunged and got swept. Tommy hesitated, then caught an elbow for his trouble. Within minutes, Derek was pinned face first under Kesha's knee, bleeding and humiliated. Are we done? She asked. His pride fought it, but his voice cracked. We're done. Phones caught every second. By the next morning, Millbrook High was buzzing. Rumors exaggerated the fight. Some said she took down 5 guys, others swore she used weapons. The truth was enough. One girl had just flattened Derek Morrison and his crew. But it didn't stop there. Days later, 2 terrified sophomores begged Kesha to walk them to the bus stop. Riverside High boys had been harassing them. Sure enough, a beat-up Camaro rolled up, blasting music. 3 boys climbed out, full of swagger. Who's the new girl? Brad, their leader, asked. Nobody, Jessica stammered. Just waiting for the bus. Brad laughed. Looks like somebody to me. Exotic, too. Why don't you ditch the kids and hang with real men? His friend Tyler reached for Amber's shoulder and instantly regretted it. Kesha twisted his wrist, dropping him to his knees. Last warning, leave them alone. The boys tried to swarm her. It ended the same way. Bodies on the pavement, pride shattered, Jessica recording everything. That video went viral overnight, Within hours, it wasn't just about Derek or Riverside. It was about every bullied kid who finally saw someone fighting back. Hashtags blew up. Parents called the school. Students formed groups. What Derek thought would be her downfall turned her into a movement, but Derek wasn't finished. He pulled strings, got his family lawyer, and filed charges. 6 boys, 6 complaints, all pointing at Kesha as the violent aggressor. For the first time, she felt the weight of the system against her. Police came to school. Whispers flew. They're arresting her. The trial was chaos. Derek's lawyer painted her as dangerous. But when the defense played the real, unedited audio, his case unraveled. Student after student testified about Derek's years of harassment. Jessica's bus stop video sealed it. By the time Kesha took the stand, calm and composed, the jury already knew the truth. Verdict: not guilty. The judge didn't just clear her. She recommended perjury charges for Derek and his friends. The courtroom erupted. Students cheered. Parents cried. For once, the bully walked out in shame while the girl he targeted walked out a hero. Kesha didn't smile. She simply turned to her mother and said, "It's over." Or maybe it wasn't. Because for every kid who'd been pushed around, humiliated and silenced, it was only just beginning. She'd lit a fire they couldn't put out. Final CTA: if you believe bullies should always get what's coming, share this story. And don't forget to like and subscribe, because the next one might just hit even harder.